Wow, what a beautiful introduction. We are live. We are back and we are with our second show here at This Estonian Life. And what a fantastic introduction for the deaf. I think that it went down really well. My name is Andrew, as you can see from what's going up on the screen there. And I am supposedly the host of the show. And I will be taking you through this next 45 minutes, 1 hour, 9 hours, power of tour de force, just depends on what it ends up being. And we're going to have some fun with it and have a few talks and have a few guests. Well, probably just one guest. Should probably get that right before the show starts. But someone who is just to my right and does help me make it through my stupid diatribes is somebody who is very near and dear to all our hearts. I've got to say... he's just a man of the hour, and that is Dan LeMan. Hi, Dan.
Oh, hi, Andrew. Thank you for that very interesting introduction there, and hi to everyone out there in Thingy-me-Bob-land that's watching here as well. Welcome to This Estonian Life. It's our second episode.
Oh my God, it's the second show! Okay,
Excitement
yep,
Central.
right,
We've got things to talk about today as well, I do believe.
Well, it'd be a pretty uninteresting show if we were just sitting here not actually talking. So I think we should talk about something. Hey, do you know what I did today, and probably what a lot of you watching, lots of you, what a lot of you watching probably have been trying to do this week would be to open up and here in Estonia, if you're not in Estonia, of course there's millions of viewers out there and they're not all in Estonia, they can't all be. But we had vaccinations open up this week. So we had the ability to go and log in and say, right, I want the jab, I'm going to make an appointment. But it wasn't really as smooth as it could be, I think. I think a lot of people have been saying that probably wasn't handled as well as it could have been.
Oh my God, really? Like, honestly, I think that's,
shocking.
You want to start off with it? We're gonna COVID. I thought we're gonna go.
No, not COVID. Just booking appointments.
Just booking appointments.
Yeah.
What's the problem? Tell us what is the problem. What's been so? Oh my God! It's toys,
Well,
pram. Throw them out. Why is everyone throwing their toys out of the pram?
Well, it's probably the expectation in Estonia that you have the ability to do things digitally without problems or anything like that. Of course, there's always problems, but I think people have been frustrated. I'll give you my experience and let us know in the chat if this was your experience as well. You logged on, and because they anticipated that there would be lots and lots of people logging on to the health board to make their appointments, they have put in place a system called Queueit, I believe. Queuee, not just Q. Mm-hmm. Not line it, because we're not talking American English at the moment, but Queueit. And that service is designed to prevent the actual site from melting down when too many people try to log in at once. And what's been happening is, like me and other people that I've been talking to today, so you log in and you automatically get put in a queue. So it's like calling up now and it says, your call is very important to us. So jump in the queue, and every time I tried it, there was about 30,000 people in the queue, which is, I don't know if there was really 30,000 people in the queue. It's possible that there could have been a lot of bots just opening these pages and making the queue seem longer than it was. But the thing is that it took around 5 hours for you to progress through the queue, and then what it's supposed to do is play a sound to say, hey, come back to this tab, you've made it to the front of the queue, and you only allowed 10 or 20 minutes on the actual site to do your booking. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't doing that. So
what, it didn't make the sound? Is that what?
It didn't make the sound.
Everyone's pissed at a sound not being made.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And so, because I mean, you're not going to sit there like just staring at your tab like intently.
Well, how desperate are you to get vaccinated? Come on, it's commitment.
Quasi-desperate, I would say.
So everyone's complaint is that it's the sound wasn't there, and it took there was a long queue.
The long queue part, I think people understand. Like, we don't want the site to crash, and one of the problems is not just exclusively for people who want to register to get the vaccination. It's for all medical appointments. So they really don't want the site to crash. But the queue system didn't work. So the sound wasn't playing, and I would go back to my tab at one point and go, I wonder how much further in the queue I am now. And it would say, sorry, you missed your opportunity. You have to go to the back of the queue. And this happened multiple times for a lot of people that I spoke to today. So it's kind of been a bit frustrating.
Did you book? Are you in?
No, I haven't managed to get in
Still haven't.
successfully yet.
That's a shame. Well, for me, experience,
Yes.
5 minutes.
When did you do it? At like 3 a.m.?
It's because I'm over 40 and I'm in one of those groups. So I did it when it came out the
I
other
thought
day.
something smelled funny.
But honestly, really, I think that, we have this expectation of having awesome tech here. And it is awesome tech. I think it's great. Man, have you seen other places to try and book a vaccination time in places that you would physically have to go somewhere, line up in a queue or wait for the person to write it down and do all of that, and they're only open 9 to 5. Being able to queue at 3 o'clock in the morning to book your vaccination time is absolutely awesome. And it's only been tested by, like 30,000 people. Yeah, of course, it's a mass deluge of people wanting to book it, and they've been overloaded, whether it's bots or not. Hey, who knows? But it didn't crash the system, which is the number one thing as well. So it's success on all of those points. In my mind, it's just there's a lot of people that want to get vaccinated, and people have got to take their time to choose the date and place, and we've got a choice of vaccination things as well.
No, that's what I'm not complaining about. That once you're in, and you can see, once you can actually access the actual Estonian health website to make your booking, there's no problems there.
Sure. So it's absolutely. So I'm like small improvements to be made potentially, but at the end of the day, it's great. It didn't crash the website, so you're not getting like,
that
this
I
is
agree
unavailable.
with, yeah.
This is great. And they're telling you you're in a queue and you've got a wait time for it, so you can approximate when you're going to be there. I don't know. Like we're like it not playing a sound going bing. What if you were off getting a snack, or that you're at 3 o'clock in the morning and it goes bing and you're asleep and you go bugger it,
Well, I mean, that's your own fault if you're doing it at 3 a.m.
Yeah, but like a noise. Maybe you've got it muted.
Well, that's even stupider because it tells you on the site, hey, I'm going to play a sound when it's your turn to be at the front of the line.
Yeah.
Like, you get this, audience, right? You can clearly get my point. I don't know what Dan's thinking because he's just like, it's so amazing that we have this technology and it doesn't work. But it's still amazing that we have the technology, so we should all be happy about that.
Well, look at this great stuff in the comments there. Thothosius, good to have you a rock and roll hanging around and commenting as well. James as well, the biggest issue is that you can't access any of your health info without joining the queue.
Exactly.
And great. If that's the big problem, then that is a problem, definitely.
And I made that point. You didn't listen to me. You never listened to me.
We're trying to I think that really if that's the hugest point, that you can call someone in the end to access your data, depending on how important is your health situation right now that you need to do it, then there's still other ways of getting access to your health information or getting health care that you need in an important situation. It does not mean that if you're having a heart attack because you have to join the online queuing system that you're not going to be able to access healthcare. You can still go to the hospital, people, and you can still get healthcare when needed. You can still call up your local family doctor and organise an appointment. And then I'm sure that the doctors themselves do not have to jump in a queue to access your data. They will find a different way as well. So there are ways of doing it as well. Thanks. So 7 hours to get a health declaration is pretty mental. Yeah, that would suck. James, I think I know. Is that because you're of getting your car license? That would really suck at the moment if you had to get the car license thing. Thank you, same night as well, for calling me Dan Legrand for being the old fella here. That's really nice as well.
Can we give them some sort of prize? That is awesome.
Mate, well, I will book your vaccination time for you.
Oh,
How's
really?
that? Yeah.
So you're just going to sit by a laptop 24 hours a day because that's how long it'll take?
No. I'm over 40, so I'm privileged. I can
But
get
I'm
it
not.
done in 5 minutes.
Can't you see from the baby face that I'm not over 40?
But yeah, I think that...
And Dan, come on, look at me. I'm at risk. Come on, let's be honest here.
I think that if we should be... nothing's going to be perfect. Absolutely mass rollouts of nationwide anything. Anything that involves politics or politicians or government is never perfect. I do not know why we would expect anything
I'm
else
not
to
asking for perfection. I actually would like to hear from the tech company that provided the queuing system because they're the ones who have to answer for this. I mean, this is it should be a mature system that could handle something small like this. Imagine what happens when they use that system to like buy tickets for a concert and you don't want to flood the ticket website, you're going to get more than 30,000 people easily. Like, especially like with a big stadium show, you're going to have 200,000 people trying to jump on and buy
But it happens
tickets.
often. It happens a lot. And I think it's great. Like you hear of, oh, like the website was down for 2 or 3 hours when U2 put on their new concert, or insert band there. I only say U2 because I can't think of anyone
Because
that's
he's over
more up to
40.
date and popular these days. But that happens also all the time. You say, oh my God, I couldn't buy tickets for 3 hours or 4 hours because it crashed the system. I think it's great that they actually thought about it and put
But the
systems in
system
place.
that's stopping the ticket system from crashing itself is crashing. That's what I'm saying the problem is. They need to be held accountable.
Well, this
and
queuing system didn't crash then. It still let you know that you were going to be 7 hours
no,
into
it didn't do what it said it was going to do.
which was make a sound.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I had a couple of people, and I'm not making this up, this is real verifiable information, that the actual, you got to the front of the queue and it said, okay, we're going to redirect you to the actual site now, the queue site would cark itself. And so it wasn't doing everything it was supposed to do all the time as well.
Sure, absolutely. And Stumi, thanks for putting that in text, in chat as well. They did come out, the guy did apologise as well about the system and saying that there's no point waiting in line anymore and there'll be new vaccination times over the weekend. Yeah, but I don't think it was that bad. I don't think it's catastrophic that we need to throw all the toys out of the pram. Yeah, it's been frustrating and a little bit difficult, but I think a resounding success by all other parts because I managed to get my time. So I really don't. I understand as well.
Of course, you got your time. They give preferential treatment to older people at risk, so it's to be expected.
Yeah, I think it's still being done, and the fact that they can actually say that right now and put it out there without having to wait a week or a month or so to actually do an investigation into what went wrong with the online queuing system.
I'm sure the government will be asking questions of this provider.
Sure, but they're doing something very proactive straight away right now to go, okay, this is it, and they're giving us clear information, which I think is great.
Shit, are we in Estonia or what? Like,
I don't think that we've been if we're going COVID-esque, that there's been clear information all the time. It's a very difficult job to be in. I wouldn't want to be in those organisational capacities at all. But I think it's great that they have actually said, yeah, it's crap, it's not working optimally. But I think still a lot of people have been able to get and book their times. So
yeah.
Not too bad. I don't even think we should be talking about it. There's more important things to be talking about,
really?
Mr.
Okay.
Andrew.
Oh, well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, for instance, where's the best hamburger in Tallinn? Like, really? Come on, honestly. No, we don't have to answer that at all. We could have a poll, though. We could do a poll about it.
We can do a poll. We can do a poll on Twitch, can we?
No, we can't do polls on
Okay,
Twitch,
well, then we shouldn't announce
we
that.
shouldn't do that. We could do a pseudo... We could ask our tech team, lovely tech team here, to put something... up for choices of best hamburger. No, we shouldn't do that.
But do you know what influences the best hamburger? Where you live, right? Because if you want a hamburger and you're in like Lasnamäe, you're not going to go and order something that's all the way out on the eastern side, the western side of the city, right? Because they're going to deliver it, it's going to be cold. Or you're not going to drive all the way there or take public transport all the way there. So your hamburger preference depends on your geographic location. And you know what geographic location, or your geographic location is most affected by?
No.
Your apartment.
Well, yeah, right. I thought you were going to say something actually very intuitive and smart. You inserted joke there.
I tried.
Yeah,
I tried.
Very good, very good. It is affected by your apartment location as well. It does, and I think also it's let's not talk about hamburgers. We were talking about tech, and we were talking about tech. And also the things that we were doing with vaccinations and stuff like that, and technology playing a role. And I think technology plays a role in our society here hugely in Estonia as well. Isn't there someone that we could talk to tonight potentially?
I don't know. I mean, it's a pretty barren environment as far as the tech sector is concerned. There's not many options. I doubt we'd have anyone to actually call on to be a guest to discuss such matters. Don't you think?
Yeah, I don't think. No, well, maybe do we could.
Do you think? Maybe
we could. I think we do.
I think we might have a special guest who can comment specifically on all of these tech and startup type things in the city of Tallinn, in the country of Estonia in general. And We are really, really excited to have our second ever guest. Her name is Annika Ülem, and she is an Estonian born and bred on Muhu, and she speaks 4 languages at last count. She's a mother, she is a co-founder of a startup, and she is a business owner, and she's just an all-around kick-ass woman. So, Annika, thank you very much for joining us. Hey!
Hi, thank you. Well, I have to agree with Andrew. I tried to log in twice today,
Yes! Vindicated.
and I still couldn't get my appointment, so no vaccine, not for today.
Wait until the weekend, apparently.
But
That's
again,
when the
you're
new
not
appointments
40.
will be.
Not 40, no. But yeah, well, that's good. Thank you for bringing the topic back, Annika, as well. I feel it's going to be 2 against 1 today for different things going on. If anyone's on my side here at all, I think not. But someone has to be the bastard around here,
Well,
I guess.
Yeah, and older people generally are bastards, so yeah.
Sticks in the mud. But Annika, this is awesome. Co-founding a startup in the startup world as well. Like tech world, which is what's happening in Estonia. How techie, sorry to jump in with first question here as well, how techie is actually Estonia? It's, put out there that it's all Estonia, all of
There's
this.
a lot of marketing.
How straight up, first question, how techie is Estonia in comparison to the rest of the world?
Wow,
Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to get straight to it.
I thought that's the last question. Well, the residents, I guess, the first thing. That's I know you moved here to Estonia, and then also that was one of the things you noticed straight away, how easy actually it is to get the paperwork done. It was actually not that easy.
I
In
would
the end.
probably say that accessing the digital systems,
Yeah.
getting access in the first
Was
place was
difficult.
very difficult. Once you actually get the access, though, so many of the systems are really, really well set up, and compared to almost probably everybody else's country, I don't think many countries can say they have everything set up as well as Estonia does. So once you're in, it's good.
Exactly. And again, coming back to the previous topic, that it's not about the vaccine at the moment, it's about getting the appointment to any kind of specialist, because, now I actually have to call. I'm not used to it.
I can't speak to someone, I'm Estonian.
Yeah. Which is that why everyone's unhappy? Because we expect there's a higher bar of tech sophistication that we expect in Estonia, because we are are you saying that we are at the forefront? We're a very tech digital society.
Well, I can talk maybe only on behalf of myself. I'm so used to it, to do everything online. So it's like if tomorrow, for instance, Swedbank doesn't work, and I actually have to go there, then I wouldn't go. I would wait even for 2 weeks once it gets fixed. So it's just I'm so used to it, and I guess that over the past 20 years I've been just living inside the tech, and my kids as well, who are 7 years old, they know everything about YouTube. They're just it's all about technology. So it's not about only this one system, but I think it's like overall. You go. I was using a public transport the other day with my friend who doesn't live in Tallinn, and she just used her phone to buy a ticket, and it took her like 10 seconds. And it's just you don't think about it anymore. You don't go to a driver that, hey, I need a ticket. You just expect things to happen online.
So we were, in a way, for certain things, prepared for social distancing before the outbreak even happened. Because I know what you're talking about there. I think it's the Ridango app. You can just jump straight on and buy your public transport ticket straight away if you don't have a green card.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And the price is the same. I assume. I don't know, but anyway, it's easy.
So living in this sort of digital ecosystem, do you think that is really one of the things that makes Estonians believe that, yes, we are such a tech-heavy country, and we're a really good startup hub, and a lot of all these like unicorns and stuff are from Estonia?
Well, we need to feel that we're good in something, but no, actually, no. I think that every third person has dreamt to have a startup, at least. Then maybe every 10th person has had a startup already. And yes, I mean, I know a lot of people who work in a startup. They kind of like the startup environment. They like the culture. They like everything about all that. And yes, it's a little bit different. Yes, I also run the startup company, and I mean, yes, in a way it is different because you don't have those fixed job assignments, and you do exactly what you want. But yes, I think that pretty much every teenager is thinking or is having an idea at least to one day to do a startup.
And that's an interesting point, that last thing you said about teenagers who are already thinking, oh, what could my startup be? I know you don't have teenage children, but I mean, is there any sort of, like, what gets taught in school? Is there anything relating to specifically technology, or does there, like, everyone just take the, oh, I'm going to be a developer, or is there an entrepreneur class? Is there anything like that you know of that happens? Because I'm really curious.
Well, it's a hard question for me.
I know. I'm giving you an out by saying your kids are 7, but I thought maybe you might have known.
Yes, I know that actually I think from the 2nd grade they already have some kind of lessons with computers, and so yeah, it's coming fast for sure, because I believe I was most probably maybe 15, 16 when we had I think 1 class a week with a computer. But now, I mean, you imagine already the 2nd grade, 8 years old, is having some online lessons. So yes, and also, like, I see that my kids they literally use an app where they can just see their homework, and I'm like, but why don't you check your like the diary, like what you need to do for tomorrow? Why? I mean, it's all written here.
It might be slightly different to how we were growing up as kids then. Okay.
Yeah.
So the technology is pretty well ingrained in everyday society. Why don't you tell us about your startup and the sort of background of it and your role in it?
That was the first question, yeah. Yes, so I am the founder of GuestJoy. So GuestJoy is meant for hotels, for those hoteliers who want to go contactless.
So it's a software, yeah?
It's a software,
Okay.
yes. Yeah, it's a software who want to go contactless with their digital guest experience. So it's, if you think about it, it's all about digitalizing the reception processes, online check-in, selling additional services, and getting online reviews, which is actually, we see that getting quite important nowadays, because nobody wants to queue up in the lobby.
or online, apparently.
Yes, absolutely. But still, I get it. Yes, hospitality is definitely all about human interactions. But I think that technology has been, I think, very far for the last decade, definitely, to kind of to reach the hospitality. So now the COVID has accelerated all that process, all these processes, and not only in Estonia, but because we have customers everywhere in Europe. So we can see that every single hotelier is now thinking about how technology can help with their daily operations, because they all have to work with a reduced number of staff, and getting back all these employees might not be the best choice at the moment, kind of to recover.
Okay, so it's interesting that your startup is based in hospitality. So I guess the last 12, 15 months might have been tricky for you. Like, how has it been riding out the storm of COVID?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good question, because I still remember March 2020. Yeah, when we had the meeting on Friday, that it's gonna get bad, and then. And on Monday, actually, it was bad already. Then we started getting all the information like that all hotels. I actually know the first half year, I think that hotels were not forced to go closed, but shortly after they all went closed, because even if it was not the if it was not done by the governments, but they just felt that with a 10% occupancy, it's better just to close down the business. But overall, yes, it's been a really challenging year for sure. We did get some subsidy. Yes, Estonia, luckily, they helped with salary. So the unemployment fund covered 2 months' salary last year and this year also. So of course there are some measurements that you need to take, but overall that was definitely a huge help. So and also kind of you were able to time the taxes, so you don't have to pay everything at once. So, but still, I think that the hospitality, this sector was the first one to enter to the crisis, and definitely is not the first one getting out from there.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. So definitely it's been hard, because even I think that maybe 30-40% of our customers were literally closed for more than 3-4 months.
Would you say that the support that you've received to get you through these turbulent times has been sufficient? When you talk about, hey, we got a couple of months salary help here, has that been enough?
I mean, you have to be grateful what you get.
Of course.
But definitely these 2 months were really good last year, but it was not meant only for the hospitality. It was everybody could get it. So now in the beginning of the year, yes, they started giving help more specifically to hotels, restaurants, and so on. So my honest answer is that actually that we were left out from many of the subsidies, unfortunately, because we are a tech company, we're not a hotel. Unlike, I know that like in Ireland, for instance, the government decided to give, I think 70, or was it 80% of the salary pretty much for a year. So here it was 70% and 2 months, 3 months. Actually, I think it was 3 months. They extended it at one point. So no, the honest answer is no. It helped, of course. Even this little bit helped. But I think we ran out of money. I mean, Estonia, the credits ran out of money, literally.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because you see other companies just make it rain and just find some more to throw out there as well, and it just shows that there's a lot of creativity and resilience as well from companies like yourself to still be going, knowing that it's been a really tough year, and you're in hospitality as well. That's just been absolutely decimated, and you're not hospitality like you're saying, but supporting it. It's a very interesting thing. But do you find that knowing that in the hospitality sector for the hotels that have been still running, that you've been able to support them because it saves money on employees? It allows them to still do business without having to pay a physical person?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually even launched some new functionalities just to help them to overcome the crisis. So the ones that stayed open, they used guest joy quite effectively. Like if you don't have people and you still need to send out updated cancellation terms, for instance. Let's say that you just you booked a trip to Spain with your family and suddenly it was all cancelled. So I mean, somebody has to communicate all this information to you. So that's why you need technology sometimes. If you don't have these people to call you or to email you, then technology can solve that. So all these automated systems, they help to send out relevant information about cancellations. Like you go to France, for instance, do you know what are the rules there? I guess you don't. I don't, at least. Or like even in Estonia, do you need to wear a mask, or if you don't need to wear a mask? So yeah, definitely kind of to send out information, for sure.
Can I be a really bad person and ask this question as well?
Where is this going?
Just on the, I know in tech, and we're all so fascinated by automating systems and all of this, but at the end of the day, it just like, remember at Rimi at the supermarkets when we didn't have self-checkout, and that was only a year ago, a year and a half, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I don't know, blah, 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 brain going, grey hair. But then we all outcry, oh my God, they're losing their jobs. Oh, it's taking other people. I'm always going to line up in the checkout to give that person a job. It's a bit like saying, hey, I'm going to litter the streets so it keeps street sweepers in business, kind of thing. But what do you think about taking jobs away from people that are in hospitality and that it's going to impact our lives? What's the answer? I know, and how does that? Yeah, what's going on with that? how do we feel about that as being in tech and a tech society as
very
well?
Jerry Seinfeld. What is the deal with the hospitality sector?
Oh my God. Actually, I don't see it this way at all. Absolutely at all. Actually, I have this interesting paper here just to give...
guest is prepared. I like that.
Shit.
No, because I was invited to speak in one webinar, which was done by the Lithuanian Hotel Association, and the same question came up there as well. And in hospitality, anyway, the jobs are less stable. So than in the rest of the economy, and the likelihood of the employee holding the job more than a year is very low. And then quite often in hospitality sector, people are less paid than in any other industry, so they don't really value their jobs either. I'm not saying that then we should get rid of them, but I'm saying that I think that the people in future, who will go and work in a hotel will have maybe more meaningful jobs. That's what I'm trying to say, that because it's not about getting rid of the receptionist. It's more about just changing the job assignments. You can actually be a good host as well, like just talking and having like a proper dialogue. I mean, I'm sure that you also felt that in any of the hotel. Okay, your registration card, breakfast, key, check out, goodbye. I mean, do you really need a person to do that? Or it can be done by a robot, maybe? So it's the same. I think, yeah.
So you basically what you guys do is to automate some of the tasks that maybe a person doesn't need to do in every hotel, yeah?
Yeah, like, filling up the registration cards. Mm-hmm. It's I think that these frequent tasks can be fully automated. And again, check in, check out, filling out the service. I mean, all these tasks, I think you need to think all the time, like, is it something that I need to do every day 100 times? If I need to do that every day 100 times, that means I think it's time to kind of to see if I can automate some processes. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, I think every person should have at least more meaningful job.
Yeah, fair enough. So you're not in the business of turning a hotel into this like, completely human-free environment with like maybe a robot, and then you scan a barcode and you never see another person except guests.
That would be a dream-style hotel, though. I hope we get there eventually.
There are hotels like that, though, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, not every hotel is going to be that. So you're not in the business of like removing staff. You're just trying to make the staff that are still there, because I'm sure hotels have lost a lot of staff members. You're trying to help them be more efficient at their jobs. Yeah?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. And again, technology is not there all the time to replace something. It's also to support some like daily activities. So you can also see it this way, because I mean, hospitality has been, I think, too conservative for some time already. And even if we just give them a little bit of tech, it's impossible that they go too tech savvy, because it's hospitality. I mean, I think it takes at least 10, 20 years to reach that stage. Yes, there are like those really cool, even in Estonia, there are those really cool short stay rentals already, where I see that, yes, you get a code, you get your room, and there's no human interaction. I love that. Again, not 40 yet.
Hang on, bang in there again. No, I think it's right though as well. Like, it's I don't think that we should feel guilt as a business or a startup about providing tech solutions for whatever industry. I think it has to be married well with educational, governmental programs, organisations to support those people that will lose their job. It's not your responsibility as a tech company to have the full solution for everything, because otherwise we're not going to have tech. Then we're going to be like me, 40 getting older and older, and just going, I don't want any change. I don't want any change. I'll be 65 in my wheelchair and just going, no, I don't want any change at all. And we have to embrace it. As well, absolutely. So, but it's a really interesting thing. There's always outcry when we've got people that are losing their jobs. And I'm sure that there are programs out there. And I'm sure there's a tech startup somewhere that's probably dealing with that. How do you reskill people that are a little bit older and are going to retire in the next 10 to 15 years?
Exactly, and in the States, I don't know if that's the purpose, but you go to a shop. I mean, like here, you go to self checkout, but there you do your groceries, and then there's a person who actually packs your bags. And I've never understood, maybe help me out with that, but is it only just to keep a job? Because they have the unemployment rate is too big, or why do you need people like that?
I think it must be cultural because, being in different supermarkets.
But you need to tip them.
No, you don't. I don't think you tip them any Americans, please let us know, or anyone who's been. But I'm not going to tip someone who bags my groceries. I'm not going to tip everybody I see. But I think a lot of the supermarkets I love going to supermarkets in a new country because you can learn so much about that country just from the supermarket. And so I used to live in Japan, and in Japan, I would have thought, because they have some of the most amazing customer service in the world, but in a Japanese supermarket, you go in there, there's still the person working on the checkout, but they basically just scan your item and just whiz it off down there, and you've got to rush through, you've got to pay for your stuff, rush through and start to bag it up before they get the next customer coming through, and they start whizzing their groceries down towards yours. So it's a very, very different setup compared to America. So I guess it just depends where you go. I mean, self-checkout, for example. I mean, the only reason why self-checkout is a thing is because the big supermarket chains did the maths and calculated that the amount of things that customers would steal would still be less than the wages they'd have to pay if they had checkout operators going. So it's
crazy, but that's money in their pocket as opposed to it being wages, which is when it's framed like that. Yeah. I don't like it being framed like that because that's literally, we're getting rid of that person because it's more profitable to get rid of them. I don't think that's not solving the problem of giving that person a more meaningful job. That's literally profit margin. Yeah. And that's shouldn't always be the reason that we use tech, isn't it? For a more comfortable and a more smooth lifestyle that we're all looking for, and for more meaningful jobs at the end of the day. It's an interesting thing that as well. Can I change tack? Whoa. Can I change tack like a sailor? Can I ask, because we've got lovely Annika here who is a woman as well.
Yes.
And women in tech, we talk about women in industries these days as well, and I have this feeling that tech being such a nerdy, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, nerdy thing.
Kind of a male-dominated industry.
Yeah, and techie people, computer people, that's very cool these days as well. But I would say it's nearly like engineering, that there's not a lot of females within the industry, and there's representation. The people are having to fight their way, and also it's business culture. But first, just to change tack again, what is a startup then? Because if we're talking about startup and women in tech, what is a startup? Because we've talked about it, people having an idea for a startup. Isn't that just another word for having an idea for a business?
No, actually, startup, it means more fast growth, doesn't it? Yeah, so it's I guess that some people they think that the startup is a fashion word as well, but it really means that you grow fast, way faster than a regular business. So you build a product, it fits, and then people start using it. So that's the idea. Mm-hmm. Of course, at one point you're not a startup anymore, so you can always raise a question: is Skype a startup? I guess not anymore.
so it's when a company plateaus or a startup plateaus and they can't get the scalability going on as well.
It's definitely.
So it's a cutthroat kind of industry as well then, because everyone's trying to be super quick and get things going.
So the hockey stick.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's what everybody are looking for, and. Yes, I think the early years for a startup are always the most challenging ones. And if you succeed, you succeed. I understood that I think 95% of startups won't succeed. So if you're amongst these 5, then you've done something good already.
So you're amongst the 5. How old is the startup? How old is GuestJoy?
7 already.
7. Wow.
Yes, yeah, we are amongst these 5.
That's like Dan years.
Yeah, we are not unicorn, but yeah, I think it's a great industry because I run 2 companies. One is a service and the other one is a product. So the service is about offering cleaning services. So it's like seems like very nasty and different, but it's also really really interesting at the same time because there it's all about people, keeping the jobs and trying to treat them as kindly as you can because Estonia is still the former Soviet Union and like. I remember in the old days that cleaning ladies were coming with their buckets when nobody ever saw them, and then they were almost like nobody. So just to appreciate all that, and then I changed my hat, and then I go to the startup world, and it's very different. It's writing a code. I don't write a code, but in the beginning I also thought that was the most boring thing in the world. But I see GuestJoy, I see how it looks, and I think it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful.
Also, now you brought up GuestJoy back in as well. There was a question about, can you order room service and stuff with the app, or is it more for booking and doing check-ins and check-outs?
GuestJoy is a web app. I'm personally not an app believer. So I already have at least 20 apps. Maybe I'm using 7 of them. So I think that we shouldn't force a guest to download any kind of apps. So, but yes, you can do online check-in. You can buy services online, and again to rate your stay. And you don't need to download an app for that. It's all held via an email or different communication levels.
Cool, awesome.
Yes.
Women in tech, though.
Yes.
How male-dominated is the startup tech world?
In your opinion?
Hugely. No, it's not. No, it's not. Even in Estonia, I'm pretty sure that you know a few Estonian female women who've done a really great job. So it's not so much male dominant anymore. In hospitality, though, it's still a little bit ease because quite often the hotel managers are still men. But it's also changing already. So I wouldn't say so. I mean, I've never really felt like in Estonia, at least, that I'm not treated as the same way as my male colleague, for instance. Or if I do feel this way, then I think it's more my problem.
Why would you think it's your problem?
Yeah, like when you go to a room that is sometimes full of men as well, and then you're the only woman, then you like automatically you have this feeling that, okay, now I need to prove myself. But that's why I'm saying I think it's more my problem than their problem, because I don't know, I mean, how they think, but that's how I think. So that's why.
It's interesting.
It's a psychology. I think it's more like a psychology.
It is a bit about psychology, because if you use that example, 10 men in a room and you're the only woman, some of them may feel intimidated. Oh my God, this strong woman is going to bark orders at me, and oh my God, I can't handle that because I'm a fragile male.
Maybe they all want to talk to me.
Maybe. Maybe that's a strong point for the women then. But just out of curiosity, so you have a startup, and what's the gender balance there? And I'm not saying there's any judgment here. I'm sure you've had no conscious thought about it.
Good question. No, still, I think more male dominant. But I think it's like for various reasons. First of all, I started GuestJoy when my kids were 2 years old, and it was hard, extremely hard, because I couldn't find a balance at all, at least at the first years. So and you were asking what's the difference between a startup and a regular company. You actually give like 150% out of yourself just to make it work. So you work like from morning till the evening. You can do it like with any other company as well, but it's slightly different because you just have an idea, It's not offering something. It's just the idea level. and then you need to find people who believe in that. And then so I think, yes, maybe for a lot of women it's that can be not an obstacle. I mean, kids are never an obstacle, but I think that to find a balance, that can be tricky. But for men, it's sometimes easier. Because I think in Estonia as well, like in any other country, what happens after work, I mean, I can again talk only about my family. I'm married with a French, so I mean, there it's more conservative. They think that women should do absolutely everything at home.
I'm not touching that one.
But I think that yes, that mothers maybe like have to not to do more, but maybe yes, invest more time sometimes into the family life. Again, I mean, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. It's I just think that maybe that's how it works also still in Estonia, that men, they work a little bit more than women, and women, they want to work and they work as much as sometimes men, but then they have kind of the issues finding the balance.
For being in a management position as well, do you find that you as a female have to try and replicate what is traditionally successful from a management position or style or personality, or do you feel that there's freedom? I can, because normally we want strong, powerful, people, or the females that I see in television, have the power suits on and are very authoritative and
shoulder pads.
Shoulder pads, and it's nearly like, well, this is, wow, is this really what women are expected to do in management positions? Do you feel pressure like that, or you just I'm just myself, I do what I need to do?
No, I guess I think it really depends. You can be extremely feminine and just still do it. But yes, my personality has been always maybe a bit not dominant, but can't find the right words to kind of to describe. But I've always been a person that starts things. So, and for me, it's not a problem to approach anybody that, hey, I have this idea. I mean, let's do this, and let's. I'm a driver in that sense, but that's just my personality. So for me, it's never been an issue. But I think overall, I mean, if you think that yes, I just need to push the door open, that here I am, you all need to listen to me. Yeah, maybe I have sometimes used the strategy like going somewhere with high heels, just kind of to do. Yeah, it works. There's always the difference between sex. So it's and if you actually need to not to prove yourself, that kind of to stand out, then it's better kind of to stand out being extremely feminine. So it's also our advantage. Yeah, you can really take that as an advantage as well.
For sure, and you've got to be yourself and do what makes you feel comfortable, I think.
Yeah,
as
exactly,
well. Yeah.
exactly. So, I mean, men are also just still, in a way, animals, and who like women. So, I mean, and that's, the sex appeal. That I think that it's completely fine, I think.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think in business, you've got to use all of your attributes to do business
exactly.
in the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Leverage what you've got. If you're a good negotiator, you wouldn't say, well, I can't negotiate because I'm not going to negotiate very hard because, that would be unfair.
Exactly.
I think, and that's the thing, it's taking gender out of it, really. It's just going, these are my skills, this is what I'm good at. I know if I walk into a room with 10 men in there and I want to make a deal, then, hey, maybe I should wear the high heels today.
Exactly, yeah.
Is that wrong or not? I don't think so. It's being aware of it. It's knowing what could help out.
Men do the same, I guess. I mean, not wearing high heels, but like getting nicely dressed and just to leave a good impression. So, I mean, women might do the same.
Why not? Yeah.
So I assume being a startup, you're not a massive company?
No.
Okay.
We actually we used to have I think 16 employees, but we also had to let go some of them. So again, the pandemic definitely left us a mark for sure. But now we are again back on tracks. So markets are opening, and at least I'm quite hopeful for the summer.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, I mean, if hotels miss out on their summer trade, I assume that's a big chunk out of the back pocket. I guess. Yeah. Okay. So another thing that I mean, this Estonian Life obviously is based largely at the expat community here, and a lot of the expat community is here because of the tech scene, and we also have a lot of people on like the Facebook groups, for example, who don't live here but are considering coming to live in Estonia. So, I mean, with this whole internet, I don't know if you call it internationalization, but you know, Estonia markets itself as this sort of hub. Yes, we want your talent and things like that. What's your company's sort of attitude to hiring overseas talent versus, you know, like the locals who may also be competing for these jobs? Like, I mean, is there any advantages or disadvantages to having foreigners in the company? Like, I mean, you might have to change the company language for business. I don't know.
Well, our business language is anyway English, so for us it's never been an issue. And actually, at one point, we even thought that it would be better to bring in foreign people to speak less in Estonian in the office as well. I mean, just to respect others. But again, if the majority people are Estonians, then, you know, quite often you go and have a coffee and then you start talking automatically in Estonian. So I think that this is definitely something we should also work on it. But the diversity enriches people. So we feel that, I mean, we never had to relocate anybody. So we've only hired, I mean, so-called local expats. And I think that they come with a really good expertise, yes. And again, different cultures, they bring in different know-how. So, and for some, for instance, for marketing, I think like that we would always want to take a foreigner. And in a way, sales as well. I guess we would always want to take more a foreigner because just Estonians, and of course not all of them. I'm also a salesperson, but I think that maybe like doing some things, you know, like getting out from your comfort zone is sometimes for might be difficult maybe for some Estonians, but foreigners are more used to it. Kind of, let's say, cold calling. I think it's way easier for maybe as for a foreigner to do these things, because Estonians by nature are introverts, and then we don't like to do these things. we like our comfort. So no, absolutely. I think that for us it's totally fine to bring in foreigners. I think that even sometimes they can bring like more value in that sense that they have different knowledge.
Okay, so I mean, being a smaller company, it's unlikely that you would advertise in an overseas market to fill a position. That's probably more something that a large company might do. But I mean, what would be your message to people if they were thinking, oh, you know, I'm a developer of some description. Is it worth moving to Estonia without a job and then looking once I get there, or should I only apply for these, you know, positions from larger companies that actually do advertise in overseas markets? What would your opinion or thoughts be for those people?
Well, I think all developers know already Estonia. So I mean, absolutely. If you're not afraid of our winter, so it's a good place to be. Because we have so many international companies. In a way, yes, founded by Estonians, but especially in startups, we have so many foreigners working that I think it's a great opportunity. And again, Estonians, they do big things. They really do big things, I think. So it's like we were talking earlier, that we have 7 unicorns. I mean, that shows something that I think it is in a way a dreamland for developers, because you want to develop something good, something nice. And all those founders, they're really smart people. You know, we used to have Skype. All former Skype people, they founded a new company. Now the new people, they founded a new company again. So they're extremely, extremely smart people. So I think that there are a lot of great things happening in Estonia in future as well.
So yeah, definitely. There's a lot of smart people in Estonia to employ as well. It's interesting on this foreigner point of employing foreigners, bringing value. Can we just go back to when you have a conversation and you switch to Estonians and you switch to Estonian? Did you say before that's something that you needed to work on in your environment? You would prefer to speak in English then with your colleagues?
I think you have to respect also, your colleagues, but sometimes it's so much easier if you need to say something, you say it fast, you say it in Estonian.
Sure. But would you, I don't know if it was in France or Germany or somewhere else as well, in a German office, I wouldn't expect 2 German colleagues to speak English just to placate me. In the office, I would go, yeah, that's fine. It's a very interesting topic that we should discuss sometime on this program about language.
Oh my God.
About language. It's so interesting though that Estonians find generally, yes, very stereotypically, very polite and very accommodating in that. Oh, I can't speak Estonian. Please speak Estonian. Absolutely. The base of culture and understanding Estonian culture is massively through language. And people need to understand that. And I think that the more people that, if we're going to have foreigners that live here, they need to get as much appreciation for it. So they're going to have more reason to stay here, not just because of the fact that, it's got 50% forest or it's got the actual stats of what it is and the reason of why they're here, that they're here for an above average salary.
Supermodels.
Yeah, the buying power that they can get from the supermarket that they're not going to go to, that they're going to order online from. It's just a very interesting topic that we would be focusing on that. I think we should be celebrating Estonian languages in Estonian businesses. At the same time, you can have both. I don't think it needs to be.
I think so.
Excluded at all. It's because I wouldn't expect it from a bigger country, and size has nothing to do with it. I don't think either. Like in a German company, you would go, yeah, your German colleagues speaking German. No worries, man. Totally understand that.
I know. Well, yeah, I guess you're right. Because my half of my family is French, so if you think that any of my French relatives speaks in French with me. So speaks in English, with me. No, it doesn't happen. Yeah. But I don't know. I think we're so used to it that polite. I think we're just trying to be polite, and also maybe to learn at the same time and to show that we know the languages, we know stuff. I don't know where it's coming from, but it's also the same with not only with English. I think it's the same with Russian, with Finnish. We just try to understand them. Mm-hmm. I think that's.
Yeah. So. If there's one thing that would be great is a little bit more arrogance is not something that you associate with Estonian people generally. Well, maybe it's passive arrogance.
I think passive arrogance,
but not outward arrogance that's in your face. It's nearly that they need a little bit more. They just say, yeah, this is how it is, people. Yeah. Suck it up. Yeah. And I think foreigners, need to do it. Bit like, can I go back and make a circle on this? The freaking queues for vaccinations. Just suck it up. It was actually pretty good. It wasn't too bad, okay? It wasn't too bad at all. Yeah.
But I think, like we were saying before, once you have a certain standard, then you kind of get used to a certain standard. So if you, and all of a sudden I had to wait 5 hours for a 30,000 person long queue, and it's disgraceful. And people on the other countries are like, you can actually do that? Oh my God! I have to, if I want to get my driver's license, I have to fill out 10 different forms in triplicate, and it takes 3 weeks to process, and blah blah blah. And I think that sometimes we don't realize how good we have it, which is why I kind of did complain about this whole thing today, because it's well, of course, it's just not good enough.
Absolutely. And you have a right to complain, totally, as well. It's just unfounded, that's all. And you shouldn't have wasted your breath on it.
It's the same, like with a ferry ticket, for instance. If you've ever been in Saaremaa, then if you buy a ticket online, then you don't need to do anything. The system just detects your car registration number, and boom, the gate opens up, and then you just drive through.
It's really cool.
And that's normal. Yes.
Yeah. We had a comment from Kadri in chat as well. Sometimes I believe that you mean Estonians, we're not patient enough to let others try to speak. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Because I see also that my husband is sometimes trying to speak in Estonian, and I'm like, hurry up. Yeah, I have to say that is true, and because I see that every day when we go out, even with my friends who are all Estonians, and then there's 2 types of behaviors. One is that they ignore him, and then there's the second one, they try to speak in English. There's no third option.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. Thank you for that as well. I hope Kati, where are you? Hi, is watching this as well. Did you hear this? Did you hear this? Fantastic. That's great. This is amazing. So we're saying that Estonian people they jump in and they don't allow other people to speak. But we're also saying that they're very quiet people at the same time. But they'll jump in at the same moment to not allow people to speak. That's quite
it's
profound.
It's in a battle. It's the efficiency versus the efficiency of, oh my God, this person's going to take forever to say a single sentence. Let's just switch to English, versus the sort of more introverted attitude. So it's kind of a battle maybe in Estonians' minds. Because I mean, I think most of us would have had it when we aren't good at a language. It doesn't matter which country it's in. A lot of the time, you just jump back to whatever's the easiest to get the transaction done. So I don't know. I kind of get it. I kind of get why the Estonians might go, oh no, bugger it, just switch over to English because it's just going to get the job done. I don't think it's even a flex most of the time. It's just I just want to finish this conversation so I don't have to interact anymore.
I'm not your teacher of Estonian. Kind of thing as
Yeah.
well. If you want to learn Estonian, do it somewhere else. But with me, when
Go
we're
to
talking,
class, and come back when you're good enough to have this conversation.
Yeah. Which I would prefer that someone said that as well, because there's a lot of people that need the motivation to do that, as opposed to just going, I'm going to speak English with you now because it's more comfortable for you. No, it's not more comfortable for you. It's actually more comfortable for me, so I don't have to hear you butcher my own language for 10 minutes and then still not understand anything. It should be. I wouldn't mind that either. We need that motivation as foreigners to do it, because I think that the uptake of Estonian language is pretty freaking poor. If you look at long-term expats that live in this country, it shouldn't have anything to do with the size of the country. Opening a can of worms here. Oh my God, watch chat go crazy.
I was just about to say that.
That is true, yeah.
Is that it's blamed on the size of the country, that it's pointless to learn Estonian because I'm not going to use it later in life. Oh my God, you've got a brain, 90% of it's not being used. You can use a bit of it to learn Estonian, absolutely.
Yeah, 10 years and still, few sentences. Yeah, that happens. Yeah, that's true. But I think if in the first years you kind of realize that actually it's okay, you can survive.
Yeah.
Then then why should you?
Don't get him started.
Because you get an appreciation for the culture, and Estonian culture is real. I don't even know enough about it, and I should want to be motivated to learn more as well through the bits of language that I've got, through forcing people to converse with me as well.
I think for potential expats who are watching this video, because I know there's millions of you out there, I think that the way that it works is if you look at the north of Estonia, the further south you go, the more problems you're going to have not having any Estonian skills. Because in Tallinn, of course, it's like an international place, and as we've been saying, people in shops or whatever, they'll just go, just switch to English or whatever. And usually they can find an English speaker because it's going to be easier, like if you go to the police and border guard, for example. But if you start going towards Latvia or towards the sort of outer regions, then you get, I have experienced super many times people that just literally don't have any English skill or don't want to use it. So I think that Tallinn is probably a comfortable bubble. Mm-hmm. And people living here kind of get away with not learning Estonian because of the things we've been talking about, and they can use it as an excuse. It's like, well, I'm never going to be able to speak perfectly, so no one will speak with me anyway, so why should I bother? And I'm not saying that's a valid excuse, but that's probably what some people are saying.
How about we frame it this way? When you go south of Tallinn or outside of Tallinn, it's your lack of Estonian skills that's stopping you from actually appreciating more about the country and not being able to converse with local people, as opposed to their lack of English skills.
No. I'm not saying that.
But this is the framing that some people have about it. That it's but they don't speak English out in the countryside.
You
That's
can work
not their
on that.
fault. That's
you
not
can
their
work
fault.
on that.
Absolutely not. Oh my God! Open up. Oh God! And we've got some stuff going on in chat as well. I did threaten once to, and I should do it, was to read Kalevi Poeg from start to finish on Twitch. Which we should do that at some stage in ASMR, of course. It was going to be the ASMR, and that whole rant was just a whole plug for ASMR that I is on a bit of a break at the moment, because I speak in Estonian for an hour in ASMR while I eat Estonian food. It's fantastic. Check out all the videos on YouTube. They're all there as well, and some old Vanasõnu as well is around. It's great stuff. highly.
But generally
contagious.
speaking, if we kind of like come back from the tangent a little bit, I think that it's probably. Would you agree? I mean, because you're the one in the sector, you have more experience than like Dan here, who's like an old man. Would you say that it's pretty much a given that all of these, these startups, they're not just servicing the Estonian market. It's surely they're trying to be as international as possible. So would you just say that like the default language at most of these startups is just going to be English anyway?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you can't hire like especially a developer from Estonia anymore because there ain't any.
Really? There's a shortage of Estonian developers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, for sure. Again, we have so many startups and they're all developing something. So we don't have enough unless you stop the school and like going to the World War II or something.
I think hasn't there been a new school that's just opening up that Mr. Bolt has put together that's going to train 1,000 people a year or something like that?
Yeah.
So I think that's great as well.
Oh, they're
Absolutely
doing.
awesome.
I mean, they're doing a really great job on this one. Absolutely. Yeah.
Hang on, I don't know about this. Fill me in.
I don't know. I'm not in the tech thingy so much because I'm an old man.
Yeah, but
so,
you know this.
No, there's a school.
Must read those newspapers.
There's a school where they're going to open
It's
up.
not in Tallinn.
It's not in Tallinn. Yeah, where is it?
It was Võru somewhere. Yeah, it was like far away.
Yep, bit out of town, which is great, giving more to the
Yeah.
regions,
Yeah,
decentralizing
yeah.
And
Estonia.
what's this school going to do?
Develop people, and they're going to be called developers.
Right. So they're training like the
Coding and stuff.
Code monkeys.
Yeah, code people and stuff like that.
So it's like code boot camp almost.
Let us know in chat if that is correct or not.
Yeah, are we
as well.
correct?
Because we're trying to do what is very popular these days as well, which is just to do fake news all the time. So it could be fake. I don't think it should maybe potentially. Anyway, yeah, language. It's interesting though as well. Like if you do and that's I would say that's for a startup as well. And there's some very amazing people in Estonia that when you come up with your idea, you're not trying to solve a problem that's in Estonia. Actually, you're trying to solve a problem that's worldwide, and Estonia is a great test
scalable
market for something to test stuff out and then take it to places. So yeah, absolutely understand that English should be the international language because you're not thinking about, your business in Estonia is relatively small. But it's always going to be a compromise with living here as well because it is a great place to live in. And knowing of how the political things, the geopolitical stuff that's going on around here as well. I think a strong Estonia integrating, if that's possible, with all of these foreigners and locals. If we can make that an even tighter bond, then it's going to be a much stronger country in the future as well. And I think language definitely has a part, not the only thing, but it has a part to play. Yeah. To help reduce the growing demand for software developers in Estonia, founders of TransferWise or Bolt and several entrepreneurs have decided to launch Jõhvi coding school. There you go. Fantastic. Thanks, same night.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, jump on that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I wonder if they take old people. I hope, let's check out after this show. Everyone's going to be queuing up to get into that. I hope
There's
it
an
doesn't
age
break
limit,
down.
actually.
There is an age limit? Oh, I hope not. Bloody hell. Because I'm looking for a job soon. Totally.
Oh, dear idea. Oh, wow. So, startups in Estonia. So we've got your thoughts and opinions on just, your world of your startup. But what about in a greater sort of vision? I think we kind of touched on it earlier. So, I mean, do you see Estonia as an actual, like a real startup monster, like a real hub of startups? Let's just say across Europe, because, I don't know what's happening in Latin American startup scene. So
I think it's kind of easy already.
Yeah.
Because when we got started, there were only very few accelerators. But now there's many, and I think Estonia is really known for that, because even when I talk to our own customers, even if they don't know where Estonia is based, but they still know that it's a very tech-savvy country. So the word is definitely spreading everywhere. And the more we produce these successful startups, then of course the more it's known. But we are definitely on the map. And it's we've left a good mark on.
Have you been part of an accelerator program for the startup? Did you?
In the
use
beginning, yes. There was one in Mustamäe in Technopol. Yeah, at the time, yeah, it was a long time ago, and it's like boring story. Like you don't need to have a garage; you just need to have a kitchen or a living room. so again, yeah, it all starts with an idea. So. Because my brother, who is the co-founder, he was just backpacking in South of America at the time, and then I was home with my twins, and I had nothing else to do to have these long phone calls with my brother. Nothing else to do. I mean, with 2 kids.
And I guess you were calling via Skype, right?
Skype, yeah, Skype. Yeah.
Patriot.
Yeah, and anyway, so he was always kind of pitching about like how the life was in this hostel and that hostel, and it was this. I mean, that the things should be improved, and then because I was working as a hotel manager. I mean, prior to my maternity leave. So yeah, I mean, then we started kind of brainstorming ideas, and it was not my kind of initial goal to have a startup. Not at all. I just wanted to be a little bit, just to take some time off. But yeah, then he came back, got dropped, came back, and then we started it. But I think the first half year we were just together again in the cafeteria or in the kitchen. Brainstorming and putting some ideas together. But what I would definitely urge any person to do is kind of to join the accelerator straight away, because for us that was a big milestone, one of the first ones, because then you get a mentor. That's really good again in Estonia. You get a mentor. We paid 190 euros a month, and we got a mentor. Plus, we got an office space. So imagine, I mean, you get a lot.
Wow.
So yeah, that's really a lot, and so you can really mingle with people, because they are hosting a lot of events, inviting a lot of people. So we stayed there actually. I think not 2 years, maybe more than 1 year. Yeah, and until we got our own office, and we were really hesitating whether we should get our own office or we should continue with an accelerator, because again, it's like a nice hub. Like you see people, you talk with them, but when you get your own office, then you're like, you don't have that anymore. But I think in the end it was the right decision. But it's really easy to join the accelerator again. You do your elevator pitch, and then there's a competition, and you get in, and that's pretty much it. So again, something really, really well done in Estonia.
Yeah, fantastic. Accelerators, can be helpful, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Super helpful for
the mentors are
business
smart,
idea.
and they definitely they devote so much time to kind of to invest into your idea. So it's
the motivation you need if you're starting out on your own, I think,
Oh,
as
yeah.
well. Just to
It's
have
all
someone
about
to talk to bitch and moan and complain and
it's
go,
all about that. It's all about that, because usually in the beginning it's there's a lot of unsuccess following you. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, that's been really cool to get your perspective on everything. Final question for you. So, how long until Guestjoy is a unicorn?
Here we go.
Next question. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my honest answer is that I think in hospitality it's really hard to get to that stage, because as I said, like hospitality is still quite conservative. They use quite few like different technologies, and just getting there that they start using more and more takes just time. I mean, I guess like everybody who are listening have experienced that you go to a hotel, it's still the same way as it has been done like over the past maybe 50 years. It's changing. Some like it, some don't like it, but I think that we need to give some time.
Okay. Well, I kind of lied because I thought of one last question, and that is that, so you're a co-founder of a startup and you run another business, a cleaning business, you said on the side, well, not on the side, you run a actual full business, and you're the mother of twins. My question for you is, when do you actually sleep?
Now I go home after this show.
It must be tough, but I mean, you're clearly doing a good job. Your company survived both your companies have survived the pandemic so far, and I assume your kids have survived the pandemic so far as well. So I mean, that's really
They
awesome.
still go to school.
And that's the godsend, is they actually physically go to school now.
Yeah, actually, that's a good question, because I think that I have had two really challenging periods. The first one was the first year, and then the next one was actually now 2 months homeschool.
Oh, with
Never
the
recommend
previous
that to
lockdown.
anybody.
Wow, and with
So
twins as
that
well
was-
at
that-
7 or 8 years
that
of
put my
age.
nerves definitely on.
Because I bet they never fight either.
Boy and the girl.
Right, yeah, so
Yeah.
they definitely behave themselves all the time.
So yeah, but it's all about finding the balance. Like you said, 40% of forest, so you can. There are places to go.
Absolutely. Well, great. Thank you for the insights today. That was fantastic. Yeah. good to
Yeah,
have that
it was
chat.
really cool having you on. So thank you for everything that you contributed, and maybe we'll have you back as a guest again one day.
When you're a unicorn. Yep.
Yeah. Remember us little
Hope
people.
you're still alive.
Yeah.
Remember us little people
Come and slum it with us once you've
Yeah,
reached
yeah.
unicorn status. Yeah.
down in downtown Kalamaya. Cool. All right. So that was Annika Ülem. She, as I said, she does it all, basically. There's nothing that she doesn't do, and proving that you can be in tech and have a family and run businesses and just do everything else. So, yeah, really cool to get her opinion. So I think that's almost our show.
What? Hang on. I'm supposed to have my rant. I was supposed to have my rant last
You started
week.
the rant in the language part that you
No,
brought
that
up.
wasn't the rant that I wanted to have. Give me the camera. Give me the camera. Come here. Put it on. I'm not gonna. Look, we're heavily over time as well.
Hey,
and look at
Dan.
that, Therthosius in comments saying, Annika, you're a warrior. All his co-workers with children were wrecked in a few weeks of homeschooling. Absolutely, warrior status. I'm not going to have a rant. I'm just going to. Yep, you know exactly that. I want to say thank you for Andrew for hosting tonight. Thank you for Annika, and I'm not going to have a rant. I'll just finish the goddamn show.
I just want to get his blood pressure up so far that he needs to go on medication for it. But that will pretty much wrap up our show. As Dan said, we went a little bit over time. Old people not very good keeping time, so that's probably why that happened there. He's going to punch the crap out of me once the cameras go off, ladies and gentlemen. But thank you to everyone who is watching the show now. If you are watching the show as a recording in the future, thank you for watching the show in the future. We aren't from your time. I think it's probably safe to say you have more robots available in your time, and space travel is probably more convenient and accessible for the regular person. But if you are enjoying this show and you would like to help support the production of this show, because I think you'll agree, very, very high production values, feel free to chuck us a donation. Like, that would be a really awesome thing. We're going to flash up a graphic now that's going to give you the details that you need to leave us a bit of a donation. Anything helps. $5, $10, 2 million if you're
You can even give us euros as well if you want. You can give us Australian dollars or American bucks as well. Yeah, all bucks. Yeah, totally.
Singapore dollars, they work as well.
Sure, Zimbabwean ones as well. They're really interesting because they don't exist anymore. I think.
Yeah. Maybe hold off on the Zimbabwe bucks just for the time being. But yeah, chuck us a donation if you enjoy the content and want to encourage us to grow the show and to make sure we can keep the lights on, because there are several of them. We have quite a professional setup here.
Probably should have turned a few off tonight. We didn't need so many.
Yeah, I know. I wondered why I'm sweating. But thank you very much for joining us. We will put up the info for show 3 really soon, so we can let you know when to tune in for that. And otherwise, take care of each other and yourself. Go and get the jab when you can finally get to the end of the 30,000 person queue without the system screwing up. And we will see you next time on This Estonian Life. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Annika, our guest. And thank you to our awesome crew. Thank you to the audience. Check you next time.